talking college sports in the Deep South where college football is king. And we want to think the SEC Conference is one of the better conferences in college football down in the Deep South, especially in East Alabama, where Auburn University rests. They call that place the loveliest village on the plains, and the battle cry is War Eagle. Fearless and true gang, Gus haters, and Auburn enthusiasts. Let's go ahead and get this comment section active. Once again, it's K-Stu to go for Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. Go ahead and like the video and go ahead and subscribe to my channel as we get this thing going practically every single day. War Eagle coming into the 2019 season. I will tell you guys, for the first time in the Gus Malzahn era, I really kind of sort of like what I see personnel-wise. You know, the fact that Gus Malzahn does not have to depend on the JUCO market as far as pivotal players. If we look back in the day, of course, Nick Marshall helped start this thing off. Then you talk about, Duke Williams, Javon Robinson, also John Franklin III. You know, instead of him having to rely on JUCO players, he's actually looking to just add depth with the JUCO players. A couple of guys, Velas Jones out of USC. You talk about the JJ, the guy out of Arizona State. It's just looking a little bit better from a solidarity standpoint for Gus Malzahn. Because if you think about it, when Gus Malzahn was highly reliant on junior college transfers, it didn't quite bode too well for him. You know, when you actually go through the full recruiting process with a player, you probably tend to get a better result because you have that relationship built. You help to bring that person to the next level, and it just tends to be a better result. It's kind of similar, like if you're a manager at a company, your own players are better than, will probably perform better for you than, say, players that you inherit and or players you get from, say, transferring from another place. They have that buy-in with you. You've talked to them. You've built that particular relationship. And that's definitely something that Auburn has going in their favor this year. The vast majority of the football players on the team are players that were actually hands-on recruited. You talk about the recent quarterback in Jarrett Stidham with Auburn, coming out of Baylor. He was recruited by Baylor. He formed those relationships with Baylor. So there's just, little to no reason that you would think he would have that full-fledged loyalty to Auburn. I think to a certain point, it started, hey, this is where I'm going to go ahead and finish out my career, and, hopefully things work out to where I go to the NFL. But as far as that full investment that an actual recruit from day one will have is a little bit different. So I like the fact that Auburn finally, especially at the quarterback position, has a guy that was recruited from high school, went through the full recruiting process, found out from a perception standpoint, hey, Auburn is where I want to go to school. And it just has worked out. We're just going to see how it works out for Gus Malzahn and the Auburn Tigers, because this is the first time that we will be able to see if a recruited quarterback for Gus Malzahn can translate over to next level play. We would like to think with the talent of Joey Gatewood, Malik Willis, and Bo Nix that this will translate into a big deal for the Auburn Tigers. And at this point, I would rather roll with this than, roll the dice on, say, a transfer quarterback. Kind of glad Auburn didn't pick up on Kelly Bryant, things of that nature, because you have the talent there. And the hiring of Kenny Dillingham will make this thing even more interesting because he has a knack for taking quarterbacks to the next level. Very, very excited to see where this can go. Like I said before, for the first time, in the Gus Malzahn era, just not heavily reliant on JUCO players. That helps with discipline. That helps with team building. You can build a solid team. You can build solid relationships. And guess what that does? That molds your team. to where these guys are playing together because they know one another. They went through the recruiting process together. They were on these visits together and started to get quote unquote cool with one another and form these relationships, guys. So we have to make sure we take that into account as we go into the 2019 season for the Auburn Tigers. Once again, it's Case to the GOAT for Vernon Speaks Sports. Like, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. Auburn enthusiasts, Gus haters, Stidham fans, whatever genre of Auburn fan you may be, let's get active in the comment section and tell how you feel about this. For the first time, Auburn is not relying on JUCO players. War damn Eagle.